Picture this. A man who walks into a room, and without saying a word, commands respect. His presence alone makes people pause, lean in, and listen. What's his secret? It's not charm, not wealth, not even charisma. It's something deeper, something primal, something every high-value man knows in his bones. Respect isn't begged for, pleaded for, or negotiated. It's earned through one thing: unshakable boundaries. Want to know how to become that man? The kind of man who makes a woman's eyes soften, her voice steady, and her heart race with admiration? Stick with me, because today, I'm revealing the 5 most powerful boundaries that will transform how the world sees you, and how she sees you. Ready to step into your power? Let's dive in. There's a truth that separates the men who inspire awe from those who fade into the background. Respect isn't about what you say, it's about what you don't say. It's not in the promises you make or the compliments you give. It's in the lines you draw, the standards you uphold, and the things you refuse to tolerate. Women, in particular, don't respect your words. They respect your backbone. They respect the strength you show when you say no, far more than any yes you could ever offer. Why? Because a man who knows his worth doesn't bend, doesn't break, and doesn't beg. He stands tall, unwavering, like a mountain in a storm. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly respected? Not just liked, not just loved, but respected. The kind of respect that makes someone think twice before crossing you. Most men lose that respect, not because they stop loving their partner, but because they stop commanding it. They hand over their power in 1,000 tiny ways. A snarky comment they let slide, a broken promise they forgive too quickly, or a moment of disrespect they pretend not to notice. And in those moments, something shifts. She stops seeing you as the man she admires and starts seeing you as someone she can control. That's the coldest reality of all. A woman doesn't lose respect for you in one big moment. It's a slow drip, a quiet erosion, until one day, you're no longer the man she looks up to. You're just there. But here's the good news. You can change that. Right now, today. You don't need to control her, manipulate her, or chase her. You need to control you, your actions, your standards, your boundaries, so powerfully that she has no choice but to recalibrate how she sees you. Imagine a version of yourself so grounded, so clear in your worth, that disrespect bounces off you like rain on a windshield. That's the man we're building today. If you're ready to step into that power, drop "I choose respect" in the comments below and let's lock in. Boundary number 1. Never reward disrespect. Let's start with the foundation. The non-negotiable truth every man must internalize. The moment you tolerate disrespect, you become replaceable. It's not about how much you've done for her, how many years you've been together, or how deep you think your connection is. The second she senses you'll accept being belittled, ignored, or undermined, something shifts in her mind. She stops seeing you as a man she needs to earn and starts seeing you as a man she can use. It's a harsh truth, but it's where your power begins. Picture this. She makes a snide comment in front of your friends, and you laugh it off, pretending it didn't sting. Or she ghosts you for hours, then comes back with a half-hearted excuse, and you act like it's no big deal. Maybe she interrupts you every time you speak, and you let it slide because you don't want to rock the boat. Each time you do this, you're sending a message: my self-worth depends on your approval. And that, my friend, is a death sentence to desire. A woman doesn't test you because she's cruel, she tests you because it's in her wiring to seek out strength. A man without boundaries isn't a safe space, he's a soft space. And soft spaces get trampled. So, how do you flip the script? How do you become the man who commands respect without raising his voice or losing his cool? It starts with recognizing disrespect in all its forms. It's not just yelling or name calling. It's the subtle jabs, the eye roll when you share your dreams, the constant interruptions when you're trying to speak, the way she brings up her ex to get a reaction. It's when she's glued to her phone, texting other guys, and calls you insecure for asking about it. It's the silent treatment she gives instead of having a real conversation. These are all micro hits to your soul, chipping away at your dignity. Here's the blueprint to stop it. 1. Spot it early. Disrespect doesn't always come with a neon sign. It's in the tone, the body language, The patterns. Pay attention. 2. Correct it once. Calmly. You don't need to shout or argue. A simple, direct statement works. Don't speak to me that way. No emotion. No debate. Just clarity. 3. Follow through with consequences. If she crosses the line again, don't beg or plead. Create distance. Let her feel the weight of her actions. Maybe that means you step back for a day. Focus on yourself, and let her come to you. Actions speak louder than words. When you stop rewarding disrespect, you're not just protecting your dignity, you're showing her what a high-value man looks like. You're showing her that you're not afraid to walk away from anything that diminishes you. And that, more than any grand gesture, is what makes her respect you. Because a man who can't protect his own standards can't protect her heart. This is just the beginning. We've got 4 more boundaries to cover that will completely shift how you show up in your relationships and your life. Want to know what they are? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next part of this journey. Drop "I choose respect" in the comments if you're ready to take back your power. Let's keep going, together. Last time, we uncovered the hidden truth that respect isn't begged for, it's earned through boundaries that scream strength without saying a word. We talked about never rewarding disrespect and how that one choice can shift how she sees you. How the world sees you. Now, let's take it further. How do you enforce those boundaries with calm, unrelenting clarity? How do you become the man who doesn't just set standards but lives them? Buckle up, because we're diving into the next steps to transform you into a man who commands respect, not just from her, but from everyone around you. Imagine this. You've drawn your line in the sand. You've told her, calmly but firmly, don't speak to me that way. She crosses it again. What do? Do you argue, plead, or try to explain why it hurt? No, you don't repeat yourself. You don't spiral into a shouting match or play her games. You deliver one clear message. If this happens again, I'm done. And if she tests you, because she will, you walk. No rage, no drama, just pure, unshakable clarity. You leave the table when disrespect is served. Why? Because a man who tolerates disrespect isn't just losing her respect, he's losing himself. When you take this stand, one of 2 things happens. She either steps up, recalibrates, and starts treating you with the respect you deserve, or she walks away. And if she walks, good. That's not a loss, it's a victory. You've just freed yourself from someone who was draining your energy, dimming your light. Every step away from disrespect is a step closer to becoming the man the world can't ignore. This isn't just about her, or even about dating. It's about how you carry yourself through life, with your boss, your friends, your family. How you let people treat you is how they measure your worth. Are you ready to show them what you're really made of? Standing firm in your standards isn't about ego. It's about survival. A man without boundaries is a man running on empty. He's exhausted, resentful, always one step away from breaking or exploding. But a man who honors himself, he's solid, he's focused. He builds a life so aligned with his core that only those who respect him can step into his orbit. That's not arrogance, it's evolution. It's you becoming the best version of yourself. Not for her, not for anyone else, but for you. So, how do you make this real? Practically, it means doing what most men won't. If she flakes on a date, don't chase her with texts or excuses. If she mocks your goals, don't justify them. Just let her feel the weight of your silence. If she stirs up drama to test you, don't take the bait. You set the standard, and you enforce it every single time. If she wants back into your world, she earns it, not with apologies or promises, but with consistent behavior that matches your values. Your emotions might scream to give in, to forgive too quickly, to hold on because you're attached. But here's the truth. Never let your feelings override your execution. You're either teaching her to respect you or letting her run circles around you. Which will it be? Now, let's address the question burning in your mind. How do I stay strong when I'm attached to her? When I miss her so much it hurts? Or when she's the only woman I've ever loved? Here's the raw, unfiltered answer. If you're addicted to her attention, it's because you haven't built something in your own life worth being addicted to. Shift that energy. Pour it into yourself. Start with your body, because a strong body builds a strong mind. Wake up earlier than you want to. Lace up your shoes and run. Even when your mind begs for rest. Lift weights until your muscles burn. That pain? It's not weakness, it's power. It's discipline forging you into something unbreakable. But it's not just about the gym. Start that business you've been dreaming about for years. Create something that doesn't need anyone's approval. Learn a skill that makes you valuable, not just to women, but to the world. Stop chasing dopamine hits on your phone and start creating. Write, build, move, be alone. Not as a victim licking his wounds, but as a warrior sharpening his blade. Read books that challenge your mind. Take cold showers, not for the trend, but to remind yourself you can choose discomfort and still come out stronger. Clean your space. Organize your finances. Cut ties with friends who drag you down. Stop wasting time in places that sap your energy. Craft a personal code, a set of rules you follow with the precision of a monk. This is how you become a man who doesn't need to demand respect because he embodies it. When you stop tolerating disrespect from her, something else happens. You stop tolerating mediocrity in yourself. You start building a life that radiates strength. Your presence shifts the air in a room. Your eyes carry a quiet confidence that speaks before you do. People feel it. Some will admire you. Others might fear you, but no one will ignore you. And one day, that same woman who tested you, who played games, who thought she could walk all over you, she'll see you again. Maybe it's months later, maybe years, but she won't recognize the man standing in front of her. You won't need to say a word. She'll feel it. The weight of what she lost. The power she'll never touch again. And that will linger in her mind far longer than anything you could ever say. This is your moment to rise. The journey to becoming a high-value man doesn't end here. We've got more boundaries to explore. More ways to solidify your strength. Want to keep building this unshakable version of yourself? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next. Drop "I choose respect" in the comments if you're ready to live by your standards and command the respect you deserve. Let's keep pushing forward, together. We've been building a blueprint for commanding respect, starting with never rewarding disrespect and living by a code that makes you untouchable. But respect isn't just about standing firm against others, it's about protecting the core of who you are. Today, we're diving into the second boundary, guarding your peace. Because a man without peace isn't just vulnerable, he's adrift. Ready to learn how to anchor yourself and become truly unshakable? Let's go. Picture a man who walks through life like a fortress, calm, steady, untouchable. Insults bounce off him, drama slides past him, chaos tries to creep in, but it can't find a crack to slip through. That man isn't lucky, he's deliberate. He's made a choice to guard his peace like it's the most valuable thing he owns. Because it is. Peace isn't something you stumble into by accident, like finding $1 on the sidewalk. It's something you defend with every fiber of your being, as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. Without peace, you're not living, you're surviving. Reacting to every ping, every slight, every demand, like a puppet on someone else's strings. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly at peace? Not just calm for a moment, but deeply grounded, like nothing could shake you. Most men don't know that feeling because they've let their peace leak away. Every time you respond to a text the second it arrives, you're leaking. Every time you get sucked into an argument you didn't start, you're leaking. Every time you say yes to a favor out of guilt, or stay up late chasing a conversation with someone who disrespects you in the daylight, you're leaking. These are tiny cracks in your foundation, and over time, they drain you dry. What's left is a hollow version of you, a man wearing the mask of someone who once had dreams, now just scrambling for scraps of validation. A man without peace is a man on edge, pulled in 1,000 directions, always reacting, never choosing. He's not building an empire, he's barely holding himself together. He's not leading a relationship, he's begging for one. And women? They sense it instantly. They can tell when your attention is scattered, when your time has no value, when your schedule bends to their whims. That doesn't make her admire you. It makes her feel like she's in control. And deep down, no woman respects a man who needs to be led. A man who can't guard his own peace can't protect her heart. It's that simple. So, how do you become that fortress? How do you guard your peace so fiercely that the world feels your strength before you even open your mouth? It starts with one radical choice. You become unavailable to chaos. Not as a defense, not as a wall you hide behind, but as a deliberate design for your life. Look at every part of your world, your phone, your relationships, your habits, your calendar, and ask yourself, does this protect my peace? Or does it poison it? If it poisons, it's gone. No debates, no second chances, no dramatic goodbyes, just gone. You don't argue anymore, because arguments mean you're trying to prove your worth to someone who doesn't see it. A man at peace doesn't explain himself to chaos. You don't chase anymore, because chasing pulls you out of the present moment and into someone else's game. You don't scroll endlessly through social media, because every swipe is a choice to numb yourself instead of build something real. You don't sleep in, because sleeping in tells your soul that your life isn't urgent, that your purpose can wait. You don't open your door to everyone, because access to you is sacred, a privilege earned through respect. Guarding your peace means saying no without a paragraph of excuses. It's setting boundaries that don't need justification, because your peace is non-negotiable. Imagine your life as a sanctuary. Every decision you make is a gatekeeper. That toxic friend who always complains, he doesn't get in. That late-night text from someone who disrespects you, it goes unanswered. That habit of over-explaining yourself to people who don't care, it stops today. You start treating your time like gold, your energy like a currency you don't spend on just anyone. You wake up early, not because you have to, but because you're claiming the day before it claims you. You move your body, run, lift, sweat, because discipline in your body builds discipline in your mind. You say no to the things that pull you off course, and you say it with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth. This isn't just about you, it's about the ripple effect. When you guard your peace, you walk into a room and people feel it. Your silence carries weight. Your words land harder, not because you're loud, but because you're centered. Women notice it too. They see a man who doesn't flinch at their tests, who doesn't bend to their moods, who doesn't need their approval to feel whole. That's the ultimate flex, an invisible strength that shifts the air around you. You're not reacting to the world, you're shaping it. And the more you protect your peace, the more you realize you don't need to demand respect. You command it. Your presence does the talking. So, where do you start? Right now. Your time isn't infinite. Every second you spend tolerating chaos is a second you delay your greatness. Don't wait for rock bottom to build your foundation. Take a hard look at your life today. What's poisoning your peace? Who's draining your energy? What habits are keeping you stuck? Cut them out, one by one, with surgical precision. Become the man who stands behind his boundaries. Alone if he has to. Firm forever. That's how you become unshakable. That's how you rise. We're not done yet. There's more to this journey, more boundaries to master, more ways to solidify your strength. Want to keep building the man who commands respect without saying a word? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Drop "I choose peace" in the comments if you're ready to guard your peace and take back your power. Let's keep moving forward, together. We've been forging a path to unshakable strength, starting with refusing disrespect and fiercely protecting your peace. That inner calm is your fortress, the foundation of a man who commands respect without uttering a word. Now, let's take it a step further with the third boundary, keeping your mystery intact. Because a man who shares too much risks losing the very depth that makes him magnetic. Ready to learn how to hold your cards close and let your presence speak for itself? Let's dive in. Imagine a man who walks into a room, and without saying a word, the air shifts. People lean in, curious, drawn to the quiet power in his eyes. He's not loud, not flashy, but there's something about him, something deep, something unreadable. That's the man you're becoming. A man who guards his peace so fiercely that chaos can't touch him, and who holds his inner world with such care that others can't help but wonder about him. This isn't about playing games or hiding who you are. It's about understanding that your depth is your strength, and oversharing dilutes it. Let's paint a picture. You're building a life that's yours. A world where you choose who gets a seat at the table. You don't answer every text the moment it lands, especially not from people who bring drama instead of peace. You skip the gatherings where gossip is the only currency, because you know your energy is worth more than small talk and petty games. Let people call you cold or arrogant. Let them whisper about how you've changed. Let them miss the old you, the one who was always available, always bending to keep the peace. While they're talking, you're building something solid. A life where only those who respect your boundaries can enter. Isn't that the kind of life you want? A life where you're not chasing approval from people who don't even respect themselves. Guarding your peace is about more than saying no, it's about living with intention. You wake up early, not because it's trendy, but because those quiet hours before the world stirs are your sanctuary. They're where you sharpen your mind, set your intentions, and remind yourself who you are. You read, not to flex intelligence, but to put your problems in perspective, to see how small they are against the vastness of human history. You take walks alone, not out of loneliness, but because a man who can be alone without feeling empty walks with peace as his companion. You train your body, not for likes or a six-pack selfie, but because physical discipline is a spiritual battle, forging a mind that can't be swayed by chaos. Your space reflects your mind. You keep it clean, not to impress anyone, but because order is the enemy of chaos. A cluttered room breeds a cluttered soul. And you're done with that. Peace is power because a man who owns his mind owns his world. He doesn't get dragged into arguments, because he doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't chase drama, because he's too busy building something real. He's untouchable, not because he's cold, but because he's chosen to protect what matters most. And that's what draws people in. Women feel it, employers trust it, friends respect it, other men see it and think, he's different. Why? Because you've become a man who doesn't bend, even when the world leans hard. Here's the truth. When a woman stirs up emotional noise, starting a fight out of nowhere, asking loaded questions, pulling away to test your reaction, she's not trying to destroy you. She's searching for your edges, probing to see if your world holds firm or crumbles under pressure. If you jump every time she pokes, if you react with desperation or anger, you show her there's no core, just a man scrambling to keep up. But if you stay calm, hold the silence longer than her confusion, and respond only when you're ready, you don't just guard your peace, you declare it untouchable. You show her your strength isn't negotiable. And in that moment, she either aligns with your frequency or she exits your life. Both are wins, because the second you sacrifice your peace to keep someone around, you've already lost the most important thing, yourself. What's the point of love if it costs your soul? Building this kind of peace is a revolution. It's a quiet rebellion against a world that thrives on chaos. It's a peace so strong it offends those who live in drama. A peace so real it pulls the right people closer and pushes the wrong ones out. And the irony? When you live this way, everything you used to chase, validation, love, attention, respect, starts chasing you. Why? Because you've become rare. You're the man who doesn't need the world's applause to feel whole. That kind of peace heals you. It sharpens your decisions, reveals your true friends, and teaches you how to love without losing yourself. It builds a foundation no setback, no betrayal, no loss can shake. Guard it like it's gold, because it is. Don't share too much. She might say she wants to know everything about you. But deep down, she doesn't. She wants to feel your depth, not drown in it. She wants to discover you over time, not carry the weight of your every thought, doubt, or wound. The moment you open the floodgates, spilling every emotion, every fear, every half-formed dream, you risk becoming something she didn't sign up for, a project. A man who overshares loses his mystery, and mystery is what keeps her intrigued. It's what keeps her wondering, who is this man? Instead of thinking she's got you all figured out. Keep some doors closed, not out of secrecy, but because your inner world is sacred. Let her earn the privilege of seeing it. We're building something unstoppable here. And there's more to come, more boundaries to master, more ways to become the man who commands respect effortlessly. Want to keep shaping this powerful version of yourself? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next step. Drop "I choose peace" in the comments if you're ready to protect your peace and hold your mystery. Let's keep rising, together. We've been building a fortress of strength, refusing disrespect, guarding your peace, and holding onto your mystery to keep your presence magnetic. That sense of depth, that unspoken intrigue, is what sets you apart. Mastering how much you share, Because a man who reveals everything risks losing the spark that keeps her captivated. Ready to learn how to wield your story like a master, not a megaphone? Let's get started. Picture a man who's a living enigma. He's not cold, not closed off, but there's a depth to him you can't quite pin down. When he speaks, you lean in, because every word feels earned. Every glimpse into his world feels like a privilege. That's the power of strategic vulnerability. A man who knows how to carry his weight. Share when it matters, and hold back just enough to keep the fire of intrigue burning. Women don't fall in love with projects, they fall for men who stand tall. Who carry their own burdens with quiet strength. Who leave just enough unsaid to keep her curious. So, why is it that oversharing can dim that spark? Let's break it down. You've been told your whole life to open up, to be vulnerable, to lay it all bare to connect. But let's be real, how's that worked out for you? Did she pull you closer when you poured out your deepest fears? Did she admire you more when you bared every doubt, every wound, every moment life felt unfair? Or did you catch a flicker in her eyes, a subtle shift where she started seeing you not as her rock, but as someone who needed her to hold him up? It's not that vulnerability is wrong. You're human, not a machine. You feel pain. You wrestle with doubts. You carry scars. But the difference between a man who's respected and one who's merely tolerated lies in how he handles those emotions. A respected man feels deeply but moves deliberately. He doesn't let his pain become someone else's burden. He doesn't turn his struggles into a plea for sympathy or a tool to manipulate connection. He processes his battles quietly, steadily, often alone, integrating his past into his strength without broadcasting it. When you overshare, spilling every emotion, every fear, every half-formed dream, you create emotional clutter. She doesn't know what to do with it all. Instead of feeling closer, she feels overwhelmed, like she's been handed a puzzle she didn't ask to solve. Instead of respecting your openness, she starts questioning your stability. And instead of leaning in, she pulls back, not out of cruelty, but because deep down, she wants a man she can lean on, not one she needs to save. Imagine your inner world as a treasure chest, not a flyer you hand out to everyone. Every time you share too much, too soon, you're giving away pieces of that treasure before it's earned. You're killing the mystery that keeps her intrigued, the tension that fuels desire. When you lay everything bare, your anxieties, your regrets, your every thought, you erase the sacred distance that preserves the spark between a man and a woman. It's not about dishonesty or hiding who you are. It's about polarity, that electric pull created by what she doesn't fully know. That's the fire. That's what keeps her guessing, wondering, who is this man? That's what sets you apart from the guy who spills his life story by date 3, hoping it'll make her stay. When you kill the mystery, you kill the tension. And when the tension fades, so does the desire. It's not that you shouldn't have emotions or show them. You're not a robot. You bleed. You struggle. You dream. But a respected man carries those emotions with intention. He doesn't collapse under the weight of his past. He builds from it. He doesn't chase connection by confessing every thought. He creates intimacy through presence, through actions that speak louder than words. When she asks about your life, you give her glimpses, not blueprints. You answer just enough to make her lean closer, to spark her curiosity, to keep her wanting to discover more. That's not manipulation, it's mastery. It's strategic vulnerability, the kind of openness that comes with control, not a floodgate of unchecked emotions. Think about the men you admire most. Do they talk endlessly about their struggles? Or do they carry themselves with a quiet strength that makes you want to know more? They don't chase understanding through words. They earn respect through how they move through the world. That respect creates a deeper intimacy than any confession could. When you treat your story like something sacred, you invite her to earn access to it over time. You let her wonder what drives you, what shaped you. You let the silence between your words pull her in. That's the fuel that keeps attraction alive, long after the initial spark fades. Most men think if she knows everything, she'll never leave. But the opposite is true. She doesn't leave because she knows too little. She leaves because you gave her everything up front, leaving nothing left to pursue. When you become an open book, you become predictable, and predictability is the enemy of attraction. She stops seeing you as a challenge, as someone to unravel, and starts seeing you as someone she's already figured out. But when you hold back, When you cultivate that depth, you become the man she can't stop thinking about. You're not hiding, you're preserving the polarity that keeps the connection alive. So, how do you start? Treat your inner world with reverence. When she asks questions, answer thoughtfully, but don't unload your entire story. Let her earn the deeper layers through time, trust, and respect. Stop mistaking talking for connection. Instead, build a life so compelling that your presence alone speaks volumes. Let your actions, your discipline, your focus, your unshakable peace, tell her who you are. That's how you become the man she doesn't just love, but craves, respects, and never stops wanting to know. We're shaping a man who commands respect through every choice he makes. And there's more to this journey ahead. Want to keep mastering the art of being magnetic and unshakable? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next step. Drop "I choose mystery" in the comments if you're ready to guard your depth and become the man others can't stop wondering about. Let's keep building, together. We've been crafting a version of you that's unshakable, refusing disrespect, guarding your peace, and holding your mystery to keep your presence electric. Last time, we explored how strategic vulnerability keeps her intrigued, letting your depth shine without giving it all away. Now, let's dive into the fourth boundary, mastering your emotional reactivity. Because a man who stays steady in the storm doesn't just earn respect, he commands it. Ready to become that man? Let's go. Picture this. You're standing on a cliff. The wind howling, waves crashing below, yet you're calm, rooted, unshaken. That's the kind of man you're becoming, not because you don't feel the storm, but because you've learned to master it. Your emotions are real, raw, human, but they don't own you. You own them. No emotional reactivity. It's not about being cold or numb, it's about being sovereign. A man who feels deeply but isn't swayed by every gust of chaos. Why does this matter? Because a man who can't be moved by someone else's whims is a man who radiates power. The kind that draws respect without a single word. Let's be honest, the world wants you reactive. It's easier to control a man who jumps at every slight, who chases every mood swing, who scrambles to explain himself when challenged. Women test for this, not out of malice, but because they need to know your strength is real. Is your calm situational, or is it foundational? When she throws a curveball, a sarcastic jab, a sudden cold shoulder, an unexplained withdrawal, your instinct might be to react. Your stomach drops, your mind races, and before you know it, you're chasing her words, trying to fix something you didn't break. That's emotional reactivity, and it's a trap. It's your inner world bending to her external behavior. And the moment she senses she can pull your strings, the dynamic shifts, slowly, deeply, permanently. Respect starts to erode. Imagine instead a man who stands firm, like an oak in a storm. She tests your limits. Maybe it's a sharp comment, a loaded question, or a moment of silence meant to make you squirm. But you don't flinch, you don't lash out, don't plead, don't rush to fill the silence with explanations. You stay rooted, present, your calm a quiet declaration of strength. That's emotional sovereignty. It's not the absence of feeling, it's the presence of mastery. You feel the sting, the doubt, the urge to react, but you choose when and how to respond. You hold your frame, not because you're trying to win, but because you know who you are. That's the man she respects. The man others admire. The man who walks into any room and changes its energy without raising his voice. So, how do you build this? It starts with treating your inner world like a fortress. You don't fling the gates open every time you feel something. Instead, you process your emotions deliberately. Sit with your pain, don't run from it. Journal your thoughts when they swirl, turning chaos into clarity. Take your confusion and channel it into action. Hit the gym. Tackle a project. Build something that reminds you of your power. When you share your struggles, do it with purpose, not to seek a shoulder to lean on. Share when it serves your mission, not when you're craving comfort. Reveal your heart in measured doses, each one amplifying your strength, not replacing it. Your vulnerability isn't a flood, it's a sunrise. Slow, intentional, and breathtaking because it's earned. This discipline extends beyond relationships. It's about how you carry yourself in every corner of your life. Stop trying to be relatable at the cost of your edge. In your quest to be understood, you risk softening the very qualities that make you stand out. You don't need her to get you right away. You don't need to win every argument or make everyone agree with your vision. That tension, her not fully understanding you, her wondering what's behind your calm, is what keeps her chasing. What keeps her intrigued? Your peace, your mission, your vision aren't group projects. They're yours, sacred and non-negotiable. When you share them too freely, they lose their power, diluted by others' opinions or weaponized by those who don't deserve your trust. Oversharing your insecurities is like handing someone a map to your weaknesses. Speaking every fleeting emotion turns you into a speaker, not a leader. Instead, cultivate the power of presence. Let your actions speak louder than your words. When she tests you, hold the silence longer than her confusion. Respond only when you're ready, with clarity and calm that show your strength isn't up for debate. This isn't about shutting her out, it's about inviting her to witness your resilience. Not carry your burdens. You don't offload your pain, you reveal your strength. You don't break down, you open up with purpose. Letting her see a man who navigates life with quiet confidence. The more you master this, the more magnetic you become. You're not just a man with a story, you're a man with a center. A core so solid it can't be shaken. You don't just survive life's storms, you move through them with purpose. With mystery, with a strength that doesn't need validation. This is how you keep her attention, not by chasing her approval, but by being a man she can't help but respect. It's how you hold your edge in relationships, in boardrooms, in every space you enter. People feel it. The quiet power of a man who knows who he is and doesn't need the world to tell him. Think about it. What's more compelling? A man who spills every thought, hoping to be understood, or a man who carries his weight with such calm that others can't help but wonder what drives him? That's the man who becomes unforgettable, not because of how much he shared, but because of how much he carried without asking anyone else to hold it for him. That's the man who commands respect, not just from her, but from everyone who crosses his path. We're crafting a version of you that's magnetic, unshakable, and unstoppable, and there's more to come. Want to keep mastering the boundaries that make you a man others can't ignore? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next step. Drop "I choose sovereignty" in the comments if you're ready to master your emotions and command respect with every move you make. Let's keep rising, together. We've been forging a man who commands respect, refusing disrespect, guarding peace, holding mystery, and mastering emotional reactivity to stand firm in any storm. That unshakable calm is your superpower. A quiet strength that shifts how the world sees you. Now, let's dive into the final boundary, the willingness to walk away. Because a man who can let go of what doesn't serve him isn't just powerful, he's unstoppable. Ready to claim that power? Let's dive in. Imagine a man who stands like a lighthouse in a storm, steady, unmoved, a beacon of calm while waves crash around him. When chaos hits, he doesn't flinch. When someone tests his limits, he doesn't chase or argue, he holds his ground with a quiet, unshakable presence. That's the man you're becoming. The one who passes life's tests not by shouting, but by staying still. When a woman tests you with a sharp comment, a sudden silence, or a mood swing meant to pull you off balance, and you don't blink, something shifts. She doesn't just relax, she melts. In a world full of men who fold under pressure, your calm is a revelation. It's magnetic, it's rare, but here's the catch. You can't fake this. True calm isn't a mask, it's a muscle, built deep within by owning your triggers and choosing your response. So, how do you get there? It starts with facing the parts of you that flinch when someone disapproves. That panic when someone pulls away. That itch to defend yourself when questioned. Look those impulses in the eye and say, you don't run the show anymore. Instead of obeying every emotional urge, observe them. That space, the gap between what triggers you and how you respond, is where your power is born. It's where kings are forged. You start seeing what others miss, the intention behind her words, the test hidden in her silence. You stop needing the last word, because your presence says enough. You stop defending your character to people who aren't qualified to judge it. Your attention becomes gold, and if someone wants access to it, they better come with respect. This shift changes everything. The people who used to provoke you get frustrated, they can't move you anymore. They start questioning themselves, not you. And those who respect strength, they're drawn to you like moths to a flame. Because your calm attracts clarity. And clarity pulls in everything chaos pushes away. You'll notice you talk less. Move slower. Observe more. You wait. You study. Her changing moods. Her silences. Her indirect jabs. They don't rattle you. You understand her emotions are hers to navigate. And your job isn't to fix them. It's to be a container for her waves without drowning in them. When you do this, she trusts you more than any man she's known, not because you saved her, but because you didn't lose yourself trying to. This isn't just about relationships, it's a superpower for life. Most men are slaves to their emotions. Disguised as passion, they fight battles that don't matter. Burn bridges over bruised egos. Chase arguments to protect fragile pride. But you step around chaos like it's beneath you. You walk through it without getting tangled. Picture this. You're in a meeting, and your idea is challenged. You smile, steady, unshaken. A friend betrays you, and instead of retaliating, you vanish like oxygen from a fire. Rumors swirl about you, and you say nothing, because truth doesn't panic. You're ghosted, rejected, overlooked, and you don't crumble. You rise, quietly, with purpose, choosing your direction with discipline. That's how you build a kingdom. One boundary at a time. Always be willing to walk away. Too many men cling to what drains them, jobs that sap their soul, relationships that dim their fire, friendships that disrespect their worth. They stay because they're afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of what others might think. So they shrink, they fake a smile, they tell themselves, it's not that bad, but slowly, they become invisible, not just to others, but to themselves. They lose the spark that makes them them. But the man who's willing to walk away from anything that insults his soul, that man is terrifying. He's magnetic. He doesn't stay for comfort or convenience. He stays only when it aligns with his standards. And the moment it doesn't, he's gone. This is especially true in relationships. Women sense it, like a sixth sense. They can feel when you're tethered to them out of fear versus when you're there because you choose to be. A man who's willing to walk away isn't cruel, he's free. He's not running from commitment, he's committed to his own worth. When you carry this energy, it's like a force field. It tells her, I'm here because I want to be, not because I need to be. That's the kind of man she respects. The kind she chases. The kind she never forgets. Why? Because your willingness to walk away shows you value yourself above all else. And that's the foundation of true strength. This boundary isn't about ultimatums or games, it's about clarity. It's about knowing that no job, no relationship, no friendship is worth your soul. You don't stay where you're tolerated, you stay where you're honored. And if that honor fades, you move on, not with anger, but with purpose. You build a life so aligned with your values that only those who respect you can walk beside you. That's how you become the man who doesn't just survive life, he shapes it. This is the final piece of our blueprint to becoming unshakable. But the journey doesn't end here. Want to keep honing the man who commands respect in every step he takes? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay locked in. Drop I choose freedom in the comments if you're ready to master your calm and walk away from anything that doesn't serve your soul. Let's keep building, together. We've been building a man who's unshakable, mastering his emotions, guarding his peace, and always ready to walk away from what doesn't serve his soul. That willingness to let go is your ultimate strength, a declaration that you value yourself above all else. Now, let's dive into the final piece of this journey, living with such fierce loyalty to your standards that you reshape your entire world. Ready to become the man who doesn't just survive but thrives on his own terms. Let's do this. Imagine a man who moves through life like a river, steady, powerful, carving his own path without apology. He doesn't cling to people or places that dim his light. He doesn't beg for love or validation. He knows the difference between staying because he's addicted to someone's presence and staying because they bring peace, growth, and purpose to his world. That's the man you're becoming, a man so anchored in his worth that he'd rather walk alone than sell for less. Always be willing to walk away. It's not about being heartless, it's about being fiercely loyal to yourself. It's about saying, I love you, but I love my values more. I love my peace more. I love the man I'm becoming more. Let's paint a picture. You're in a relationship, and she tests you. Maybe it's a subtle jab, a moment of disrespect, or a pattern of chaos that chips away at your calm. A lesser man might stay, tethered by fear of loneliness or the comfort of familiarity. He'd tell himself, it's not that bad, and shrink a little more each day. But you know the difference between love and addiction. You feel it in your bones when her presence stops aligning with your standards. And when that happens, you don't hesitate, you walk. Not with anger or drama, but with the quiet certainty of a man who knows his worth. That kind of detachment isn't cold, it's divine. It's the ultimate act of self-respect. A declaration that nothing is worth keeping if it costs your identity. This boundary isn't just about relationships, it's about every corner of your life. Too many men stay in jobs that drain their soul, in friendships that disrespect their time, in situations that make them feel small. They stay because they're afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of what others might whisper. But fear is a cage, and you're done living behind bars. The man who's willing to walk away from anything that insults his soul is terrifying, not to others, but to mediocrity, to codependence, to anything that tries to dim his fire. He's magnetic because he doesn't stay for comfort or convenience. He stays only when it aligns with his standards. And the moment it doesn't, he's gone. Women sense this, like a radar for strength. When you're the kind of man who stays because of addiction, clinging to her presence, chasing her approval, she tests you relentlessly. She pushes harder, knowing you won't leave. But when you're the man who stays because she brings value, peace, growth, purpose, she watches herself around you. She brings her best, because she knows you'll walk the second she stops respecting what you bring to the table. That's power, not the loud, aggressive kind, but the quiet, unshakable kind that reshapes the dynamic without a single raised voice. She doesn't just love you, she respects you, because she knows you're not afraid to choose yourself. Here's what most won't tell you. The real growth happens after you walk. The strength, the clarity, the expansion, it doesn't come while you're holding on, clinging to what's familiar. It comes in the silence that follows your final step away. In that space, you meet the next version of yourself, the one who no longer tolerates chaos for company, who no longer begs for scraps of affection, who no longer stays just to feel needed. It's like stepping into a new world, one where you're free to build a life that reflects your highest self, not your deepest fears. Every time you walk away from what doesn't serve you, you're not losing, you're gaining. You're gaining clarity, purpose, and a version of yourself that's stronger than ever. This boundary transforms your entire life. It becomes a filter, sifting out anything that doesn't align with your standards. Over time, your circle shrinks, but it purifies. The people left in your life are the ones who rise to your level, those who respect your time, your values, your mission. There's no middle ground, and that's the point. Your standards become the gatekeeper, ensuring that everything in your life reflects who you are at your best. You become so secure in your self-worth that you can walk away from pleasure, comfort, attention, even love, if it means protecting your purpose. That's when you're truly dangerous, not to others, but to anything that tries to pull you back into mediocrity. This is the moment your life begins. Not just your relationships, not just your confidence, your entire existence. The man you were, the one who chased approval, folded under pressure, or stayed where he wasn't valued, he's gone. In his place is a man who builds standards, not excuses. A man who sharpens in silence, not chaos. A man who doesn't seek to be understood, but to be undeniable. You were never meant to live on your knees, begging for love, attention, or acceptance. You were meant to walk in power, quietly, calmly, with the unshakable knowledge that respect isn't something you demand. It's something you design, through every choice, every boundary, every step you take. If this resonates deep in your core, don't let it fade. This isn't just a moment, it's the start of a new era for you. A version of you that refuses to be less than you were born to be. You're not just a man anymore, you're a force. A presence that shifts the air around you. Lock in this shift, build on it, live it, because when you choose self-respect over comfort, you don't just change your life, you redefine it. This journey has been about becoming the man who commands respect, not through force, but through standards that are unshakable. Want to keep this fire burning and inspire others to rise with you? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay in the movement. Drop "I choose respect" in the comments if you're ready to walk in your power and never settle again. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear it, because when you support this message, you're not just growing this channel, you're helping another man step into the life he was meant to live. Let's keep rising, together. Thank you for staying with me until the end of today's journey. If you found value in what you just heard, don't forget to subscribe to Rise of the Stoic for more timeless Stoic wisdom, principles that help you live stronger, more mindful, and more resilient every day. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dive deeper into another powerful Stoic topic, raw, practical, and deeply inspiring. Live like a Stoic, steady in the storm. Take care, and see you soon.